story was once told of a government that does anything and everything to take advantage of its citizens for the benefit of a few leaders at the top.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I won't keep you guessing. That country is actually Kenya.
The amount of shares issued is quite huge because what Kenya Pipeline did, they split one Kenya Pipeline share to 1,000 shares. Quite huge.
Last week, but one, the Kenyan government did something that immediately raised eyebrows across the country. It listed the Kenyan Pipeline Company on the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
Kenya Pipeline has been the region's backbone for 52 years. Now you can be part of this future. The Kenya Pipeline Company IPO is now open.
The KPC IPO, and instantly, one question dominated the public conversation. Each share is going for only Kenya shillings 9 bob. Should Kenyans buy or should they stay away? Financial experts' answer to that question is one that has left many shocked.
When it comes to future dividends, it will make the dividend yields to be kidogo.
Let's talk about it. If you love this kind of content, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Now let's get to the video.
Pipeline company privatization is on course, with the government offering 11.8 billion shares for investors to own.
Before even talking about the price, we have to talk about the journey, because this privatization did not happen smoothly. Kenyans did not want it. There was resistance, there was skepticism, there was public concern, but the president pushed through.
The government has maintained that privatization is the right direction for KPC.
The offer for sale of 11,812,644,350 ordinary shares of Kenya Pipeline Company.
Akili.
Ironically, just a few days ago, the president was actually explaining how dictatorships are systems where leaders only do what they want without listening to citizens.
The countries that have succeeded, either they have succeeded because they are a dictatorship, where once the leader says we are going here, you cannot say no and you cannot question. That is one way of moving the country forward.
And he said that such a thing would never happen in this country.
For us, we don't have that luxury. For us, we are a democratic country.
Yet, this IPO is exactly that, a decision forced through despite public opposition.
We are going to raise 110 billion shillings with the Kenya Pipeline IPO.
Now, online and offline, Kenyans are saying something serious. They are saying that the government is attempting to scam its own people. Think about that. A government accused of running a scam on its citizens.
My good friend, hii IPO ya Kenya Pipeline, wachana nayo kabisa. Run, Murife run. Kuna shida, na shida ni bei. 9 shilling a share is a red flag.
Why would people say that? You see, MP Ndindi Nyoro stepped in with a detailed explanation on why, in his view, Kenyans should not buy the KPC IPO.
Asking me, tell us, wewe unanunua KPC? Nimeulizwa na watu wengi hivyo sana. Unanunua share ya pipeline?
He laid it out clearly.
There is a point I want to demonstrate. Unajua nimekuwa nikijiongeleza hapa. Kuja, nataka evidence, nataka kukuwe na witness. Make a column. Moja uweke valuation. The first column call it valuation. The second column call it profit. And the last column call it PE ratio. It's the simplest way of measuring an investment. Na hii tunafanya wote. So that you go make your own judgment. Because I don't want to talk about whether to buy or not. I am going to give you the analysis. Mumeweka column 1, 163. 163.6. That is the valuation. The reason I'll be using these 4 companies, I'll use 4, is because when Kenya Pipeline is listed, it will be under a segment called energy segment in the NSC. So kwa hiyo energy, itakuwa hii, ikikuwa listed, The second one will be umeme ya Uganda. The other one will be Kenya Power. The other one will be Kengen, and the other one will be Total. So I'll not use umeme, I'll use the Kenyan ones. Higher. KPC tumeandika 163.6. What is their last profit? We'll take the highest. The highest they have ever made, according to the books I've seen, is 12 billion bottom line. Kenya Power, valuation, 28. Can you go for me there? Kenya Power profits in 2025, right? 24B. Hata tuachane na decimal points. P ratio, you can just do valuation divide by earnings, which is net. So hii ya kwanza divide 164 divide by 12. I've used the highest, 13.6. That's the highest ever. Higher. Power, divide 28 divide by 24. No, 1.2. Kengen, 10.5. Higher. Divide for me 63 divide by 10.5. 6. Let's go to Total Kenya. Yeah, 6.7. So 2.2. Divide 6.7 divide by 2.2. 3, eh? Who was writing? Please, just come and tell me what you have, after writing, what comes to your mind. Yes, there's a lady here. Let's get like 2. And any other? After writing, what comes to your mind after you write?
For me, I think I would buy Kenya Power.
Please rise.
Okay.
So that you help us.
I'd put a lot of my money in Kenya Power. The reason being, it would only take me 1 year to recover my money. But for KPC, it would take me approximately 14 years to recover my investment.
Makofi tafadhali.
That is not speculation. That is simple arithmetic. And Ndindi Nyoro did not stop there. He demonstrated alternative places where one could invest money, places that actually make financial sense.
Can also somebody tell us about even the others? You have mentioned the two extremes. You can mention what you have learned about the others.
The PE ratio 13.6 for Kenya Pipeline does present a risk of overvaluation. It could be overpriced. So there's that risk element that maybe the share price could be overvalued. And yeah, that's my take on that.
Okay, my take on this, Total is 4 times better than KPC.
You see, Ndindi Nyoro is not the only one who is raising red flags.
This game is rigged, I swear. Are you aware, for instance, it might take a staggering 22 years for KPC earnings to pay back the price you are paying for a share right now? 22 years.
Many financial commentators online have echoed the same concern that the government has overpriced this IPO, not for the benefit of ordinary Kenyans, but to extract money from them. And here's where it gets worse.
Key expenses in the process of listing Kenya Pipeline Company KPC in the Nairobi Securities Exchange NSE will amount to 2.993 billion shillings.
The people brokering this deal are expected to walk away with 3 billion Kenya shillings. 3 billion. So while brokers walk away immediately with billions, Kenyans who invest their hard-earned money may wait up to 8 or 10 years to get anything back. That is not only an imbalance, that is outrageous.
The Kenya Pipeline IPO is a classic example of why the investments are usually for the rich people.
Another commentator described how this IPO is a classic example of how such ventures only benefit the rich, not ordinary Kenyans, not small investors.
The IPO is going for 9 shillings per share. What will happen is that the share will be over-applied, it will be oversubscribed. When an oversubscription happens, what happens is that refunds are usually made and you are allotted with less shares than you applied for. It is usually easy to refund the people who applied for less shares than it is to refund the people who applied for more shares. For example, If you had 900 shillings and you wanted 100 shares, it will be easy to refund you 810 shillings and give you 10 shares than it would be to refund somebody who wanted 10 million unit and they had placed 90 million.
The system has been structured to reward big spenders first, and then everyone else comes after.
Let's assume you buy one share, 9 bob. So that one share, it generates 0.4 cents a share in 1 year. It will take you 22 years. Imagine ukigojea 22 years, unagojea shilingi 9.
And you know the most disappointing part is that the president has set the bar so low that Kenyans are not even shocked by the idea that the government could be hustling its own people. People are getting used to this system ya majambazi.
When I talk about moving Kenya from the third world to a first world, I mean it. And it is going to happen right before our eyes.
You see, according to critics, this IPO is not about empowering citizens. It's about raising money. Money for development projects that are meant to be showcased. Money meant to create an image. Money meant to secure a second term for the president. Not long-term prosperity, not fair returns, just optics.
For the next 20 years, Kenya is going to be one big construction site.
So, the warning to Kenyans is simple. If you're considering investing in the KPC IPO, do it with your eyes wide open. Understand that this is not about giving you access to profits, that it may be about taking the money today for promises that stretch 10 years into the future. And that, Kenyans say, is not investment. That is exploitation. Subscribe.